Welcome back, everybody. We're back again. I am here with Mr. Shadow.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right. So now that we are here again, we are going to go over what some guys would say that they want, the traits that they want from a girl. You know, when you find the girl and certain things attract you from her, and let's just say you get into a conversation with her. And then we can also talk about the other side of that where you don't talk to her, she actually talks to you. And also, another part of that is the girls that complain that guys aren't talking to them, or they're not trying to, not even acknowledge them sometimes. So we can go over all that. So let's start with Mr. Shadow and see if he has any experience in which he met a girl and what wonderful traits she had and what he liked about her, and what he also the traits that he would like for his future girl.
So for me, the traits or the things that I look for is if there's a genuine connection. Like if you guys go on a date and you feel like the bond is there, I don't know, I feel like the connection's there, you guys like go along together, then I feel like that's a good trait, a good sign to look for.
Okay, and what else?
How they look, physical. If they treat other people like respectfully, good. Their loyalty, can I trust them? Humor. If they're independent, they have their own goals, passions, and I think it's a good amount of things to say.
Okay, well, what about her past?
Her past,
Mm-hmm.
that too, yeah. They were going around, probably not a good sign. Not a good sign.
So you don't want an old beat up car?
Yeah. We were like, how would you ask them about their past? I don't think they would like to, bring it up, but you're gonna have to find out eventually.
Well, yeah, you don't. From my experience, it's not so much that they have to tell you, as you can see it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so there's a difference in between this right here that I'm about to tell you. Okay, there's a guy that's not bothered, like, real men. They're not bothered by how many guys she's talking to,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, those men understand that if a woman's has been in other places, has been promiscuous, then he can literally tell. Like, you could see the signs. One big sign for me is, again, what I always ask him, are both of your parents together? Usually the single mother household, when they have a daughter, she ends up being more, her bad behavior becomes enabled, because they always, women are very sometimes even reluctant to punish the child, based upon the fact that they don't want to be disliked, because they're so worried about being liked that instead of stopping the girl dead on her tracks and letting her know, hey, don't do that, that's going to bring some bad consequences, she actually just comes out and says, well, we all make mistakes, and and it's true, we all do make mistakes.
Yeah.
The difference is, if you're growing up, or let's say, let's use another, let's say you're in the game, and you're playing basketball, and they tell you, roll, and then you're gonna pick. If somebody else gonna pick for you, then you're gonna roll. They're gonna pass you the ball. but another guy jumps in front of you and you got the ball stolen from you. Now, that's a mistake that, even the professional can make.
Yeah.
The thing is a professional is going to learn from it and never make that same mistake again. Or that professional is going to practice that particular situation over and over and over and over again, a million times, until they get it, so they don't put themselves in that same situation. They avoid it. So that's what the parents are there for. The parents are there for these girls to make them understand that they need to avoid certain situations. Unfortunately, a single mother home, they don't have that structure. So when they don't have that structure, they fall into this weird, they call it it's kind of like it's not a phase, but it's more of a place or a mentality in which I can do no wrong. So then, since I can't do any wrong, I'm gonna keep on doing wrong. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. And us as men, we're there to give them that structure and let them know, hey, you know what you're doing is dumb. Stop doing it, right? Or this is the proper way to act like a lady, or to act as a girl, and how to be respectful and how to value yourself, to not go around giving yourself to whoever knocked on the door. It's more along the lines of understanding that there's certain situations which you can avoid, especially if there's a father telling you, hey, this may be coming your way, just warning you, do this, maneuver this way, so you don't get yourself into a problem, right? Well, mothers don't do that. Mothers are very emotional, so then everything is based on their emotion. Everything gets, when they get triggered, they scream, yell, get upset. They don't really have emotional control like we do. So when the daughter is not seeing that there is any emotional control, they go based upon their emotion. And since there's no guy around, again, they lose respect for men. They don't know how to they don't know how to respect men. So then that becomes a big problem. Since they can't respect men, they can't really respect themselves. So, so it just becomes a giant ball of a mess. When it comes down to, single mother homes, and then those same girls, end up having kids from, the dangerous guy, or the guy who triggered her emotion, and now she has a kid with him. Unfortunately, he's also emotional, so now he feels like the emotion's gone, the excitement's gone, so now he's going on to the next excitement. Unfortunately, he leaves her, with a giant burden, and now, he probably won't get a job. She's probably out there just trying to make it happen, and then now she turns into a single mother. Years pass, kid's 18, she's like 30 something, or even 40, and she says, oh, now it's time to go out and make my life. Unfortunately, as you mentioned right now, we have certain standards as men, so a lot of those women get forgotten, and we don't want to deal with them,
No.
to be honest. So that's another question that I have for you. Does age matter to you?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't want to date someone that's under 18.
Oh,
And or you don't want to date someone that's super old.
yeah. No, I understand the under 18 thing, but
Yeah,
that's a given. That's like a thing that we shouldn't even have to ask. Of course.
yeah, that's like
In that aspect,
like
age does matter.
unwritten rule.
Yeah, that's an unwritten rule. All men know this, so that's not new. But I'm saying, like, let's say you have a girl that's older than you, maybe like 5-10 years. Would that be an issue?
Mm. Yes and no. I don't know. But if you want the long term, I feel like you should date someone that's your age or a little like 1 to 3 years younger. I'll say.
Okay.
'Cause I don't know. I feel like they already experienced like a lot already, you know. So I think that wouldn't like work much.
Okay, so are you saying that it's better to have a girl that doesn't know that much about the world? And if
Yeah.
okay, so that's what you're asking for practically.
Because I feel like if you were in a relationship with the girl doesn't know much, you guys can learn together.
So in a way, you're also going to be able to teach her.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that's your biological instinct, because men, we want to lead, and we want to
Yeah.
guide this woman that we have emotions for, and we want to be able to guide her correctly. That's just how men work. That's our biology. So then what
Yeah.
else? Well, let me take that back, because most men think this way. There's men that have been, we'll call them feminized, where they use feminine tactics and they have a feminine mentality, which to do everything possible to go against their actual biology and what they are. So the majority of men have the same mentality as you and me, which is we want to guide the woman to the right place. Okay, so
Yeah.
we went over that. Now, what about body type?
It's all up to preference. You can't be like obese,
Okay.
like really, really skinny. I don't know, just perfect. I feel like it's like I don't mind like little chubby. Like little chubby and skinny is fine for me.
Okay. Okay. So why wouldn't you want to be with a person or a girl that's a little bit overweight?
Just preference.
Okay.
Because it just shows me like they're a lazy and person. They don't take care of themselves. I'd say they don't know how to take care of themselves.
Okay. So what would you say to those out there, usually women, who say you are now fat shaming and you should accept her how she is?
Oh, it's not face shaming. It's all men have a preference. There's some men that like plus size women, like they say, but some men don't. So I don't think it's offensive. It's just everyone has their own preference. That's how I see it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's usually how it is. Is if I have a preference, my preferences should be first. That's my standard. So
Yeah, I don't know why people get so offended
yeah.
when it's a preference. It's always been a preference. It's just nowadays it's more like people get offended.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like what some women would consider short. I'm only 5'7". And no, I don't live in the basement. And yes, I work out. And I take pretty good care of myself. So I say that because I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to be like, oh, he's some type of incel living in his mommy's basement. No, that's not what my life is. Thank God. And soon enough, I'll be in the 10% of the population, which it puts me in a great place. So soon enough, I'll be there. All my investments will pay off. Now I'm sure of it. So I say all that not to say, ooh, I'm better or whatever. I'm just trying to be the best me that I can be. But with that being the best me, I want a girl that wants to be the best her. And if she's not taking care of herself, like you just said, right? A good sign of a girl not being able to take care of herself is she starts to put pounds on. And it's not up to us to judge, but then there is a preference. There's some girls that just won't like me because I'm 5'7", because of my skin color, because of my ethnic background. They want somebody closer to their ethnic background. Are they racist? You know, I don't know. But that's the thing, is they're still their preference, and we respect it as men. We respect when the woman, we accept that. We're not trying to fight a woman's standards. We're not trying to fight, whether they want a guy who makes 80,000 or a guy who makes 200,000. We don't judge that. We don't, we just look at it, accept it, and say, okay, that just means I have to get more money, and I have to make more money, and I have to become a better man. That's how we look at it. But when we tell a girl, you know what, I don't like you because of your size, now we're demons and we should be condemned. So, that's a little extreme, because, like I said, and like you said, it shows how well the person takes care of themselves, whether they gave up in life, or while they still have, a good spirit, while they still have a lot of life left in them. Then, when times get rough, they keep working on it, working out, taking care of themselves, eating right. All that really matters, because it shows the mentality they have as well. So that, it all kind of ties down together. And then a girl who's, putting on a lot of pounds usually is because she's eating away her emotions,
Yeah.
And then that's another thing, is now she's coming with, she's not, how should I say, she can be beautiful, of course, but what I'm saying is in our standards, there's certain guys that'll put up with the craziness or the psychological issues of a very beautiful girl. There's guys that are willing to do that. I'm not one of them. I don't. I just can't do the mental gymnastics that women sometimes do. Unfortunately, I cannot accept all that, and I'm not with it. And I don't fall for the tricks, and I don't fall for the whole whatever they're doing, because I'm focused on my path. I'm focused on what I'm doing. I got goals that I need to reach. Like I said, I'm close to them. So it would be very, very dumb of me to put him aside, or put all my progress that I've had throughout the last few years, just to go ahead and stop it all for a girl. Nah, that just sounds, just doesn't sound right to me in my head. Even when I repeat it, it just doesn't, I don't know, doesn't give me an inspiration. Because if that's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna change your life first for a girl anyway, she's not gonna respect you. She's not gonna respect you at all, because then she's gonna be like, oh, I own him, now he is beneath me, I am above him. So now she's gonna do everything possible to make you pay for that.
Yeah.
So that's not something that I'm into. I don't want to, how shall I say, I'm not going to sit here and enable their bad behavior. That's just not something I do. So when it comes down to overweight women, a lot of them, like I said, I can talk to them. I can have great conversations with them. We can go back and forth. We can hit it off. But unfortunately, like I said, there's certain standards I have. And unfortunately for me, she will always be in the friend zone. I may not be pretty, but as a guy, I don't need to be pretty, because that's not what women look for. They don't look for prettiness, which is good.
Yeah.
It's good for us guys, because we can upgrade, or we can, upgrade. Yeah, we can upgrade ourselves to become the man that they desire. And there's no need for looks. But physique is one thing, because they also see, oh, if this guy, takes good care of himself, he has a good body. Oh, the way he eats. Wow, he eats, very healthy. Wow, when we go to a restaurant and we eat, he'll tip the waiter. That means he's not only generous, but on top of that, you can tell he has a little bit of wealth. That's great, So, those are the things that women really look for. They don't look for, oh, does he have a six-pack? Some do, but it's very rare the woman that's gonna be like, oh, I want that guy because he has a six-pack. Like, you know what I mean? That's not how they think. We think that way. I like that girl because she got, you know, a big this or a big that, and you know, she looks this way. And so we as guys, we do that because, again, we what we see is what we fall in love with. So it's a whole different thing. And we want the best of what it looks like. They want the best of what can be given. So when you look at it that way, then you're like, oh, as a man, I don't have to be pretty, so I don't care. So if a woman calls you ugly, you're like, oh, thanks. I don't, you know, you don't know how to respond because you're like, I don't know, thank you for telling me. I don't, what am I supposed to respond to that? You know, thanks. But I don't really care. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care what you think. You're not that important to me. So when you look at it that way, then, you know, that's what a real man does. Is a real man's not worried about what everybody else is thinking. And that's the type of man that women are really attracted to, because that shows not only confidence, but on top of that, it shows that no matter what, you're not going to be shaken. That shows strength, mental strength. So those are the things that a lot of women are very attracted to. Like I said, I drive a bucket. I don't drive anything that's for the... I can buy a brand new car, but why? You know, if I have this car that takes me from point A to point B, and I'm happy with it, and it's very reliable, why would I want a fancy car that I'm gonna have to pay, you know, $500 to $800 a month for, and then on top of that, I gotta pay for my insurance on top of that, and since it's a brand new car, I gotta have full coverage. So now I'm paying $1,000 a month for a car that's not mine, that does the exact same thing that every other car that's you can buy for like maybe $35,000 less. You know what I mean? And save yourself all that. And then when you have a brand new car, you go and park it at a store, and now you're trying to take up 2 parking spaces because you don't want anybody to damage your car. You know, and that just sounds like a crazy thing too, because you're so worried about it, you know. And then when you drive it off, I already lost 25% of that car, because once I get it off the dealership, now, you know, I can't sell it for the exact same price that I just bought it for. So, you know, and then you think about it, if you're financing it, you're looking at $30,000, and then you end up paying $40,000 or $45,000 for it, depending on, you know, your credit. So you end up with all these this giant mess. And a lot of guys do that because, again, they're not secure. They say, ooh, if I get this car, girls are gonna like me. No, that's not how that works. You may have certain girls that may like you because you have a certain car. Unfortunately, that's not the girl you want. So you end up with a very bad situation, you know, because now you have a car that you're paying so much for, and now you can't take her out to eat. So you kind of screwed yourself, you know.
Yeah, she's gonna see that.
Yeah,
you have a nice car and all, but like you can't afford dinner. Like,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So then, you know, she'll easily find out, oh no, this guy really doesn't have resources. This guy's just, you know, playing the part. So and women see through those lies really quickly. They're very quick on that. So that's the thing that I don't do. I don't try to compensate. So if I go get a car, that means I'm not sure of myself. You know, if I go get this fancy car, I'm not sure of myself. You know, I'm trying to compensate for something else. You know, that just shows my insecurities. So those are the things that, as a man, we can't. How shall I say? We can't really go out and show money or wealth, because you're gonna get girls that just want wealth. Just like the girl that's promiscuous, that dresses very skimpy, that girl is only gonna attract guys that want whatever she's showing. You know, so that kind of goes both ways. You know, but then we can go back to all the way back, sorry, because I took this in a very big turn. So we go back to what we were saying though. Our standards are certain things that we can accept, certain things, to what extent do we accept what is practically what a standard is. If a girl is more worried about your car than, or where you live, and she's so worried about it, then probably she's looking to become your retirement plan, or her retirement plan. That's what she's looking for. And if she's older, and you're looking to have a family, and let's say she's around, I don't know, 34, 35, you can't have more kids. Or maybe she can, maybe one, but then, it's a dangerous situation for her and the child. And then you're older, she's older. A lot of things could go wrong in that situation. So it's usually best for us guys to be with younger girls anyways. And it's usually better for us because, again, we're looking for that fertility. We're looking for her to be able to have our genes passed down. That's what we look for as men. So, and when we look for that, we want her to be fit. We want her to be mentally stable. Very important. We also want her to understand that, hey, I'm here to lead you. Let me just help you out. I make sense. And then when she understands that, then it becomes a smooth sail, and you can have your kids. She becomes the woman that you want. She becomes a good mother, so all that stuff is very, very there are certain points that are very important, especially when it comes down to a girl. When a girl usually looks for a partner, she usually looks for somebody older than her. You and I have we have different mentalities in this because you're closer to 18 than I am. So so that's the difference right there. Is as you get older, you're gonna see, oh, I can still be with that type of girl, but now that I'm older, I have more to offer. Because as we get older, we have more to offer. We give more. We can give more.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Right now, you're just building. If you're just building, I don't know if you are, but I'm just saying most guys, around under 24, those guys are usually just barely getting it together. They're just barely starting to form a structure for themselves. They just found out that, oh, I'm a man, and there's certain things I gotta do as a man, and there's certain things I have to how should I say, there's certain standards for myself that I have to hold myself to. So those are the things that, like you're ahead of the game, because we've had certain talks, and you can tell you're ahead of most guys, and that's
I educated myself.
Do you see what I'm
on
saying?
this kind of stuff.
And why did you educate yourself, if I may ask?
Because with the way before I knew this stuff, I feel like I wasn't like learning anything or helping. Like learning this stuff made me like realize there's like a lot to learn as a man. Like I didn't know any of this stuff existed.
Yeah. So and believe it or not, I did the exact same thing. It's just that I never really had guidance. I kind of had to learn everything, unfortunately, the hard way. But you are learning things as you go along, and you educated yourself. So you're trying to better yourself. Every time you educate yourself, you're bettering your situation. That doesn't mean you have to go get a master's and be a doctor, and that's the only way to live life. No. And the thing is having the knowledge of how to be a man, understanding your masculinity and embracing your masculinity. It's very important that you understand that you are a man and that you accept that. Once you start accepting that, then you're like, okay, well, what does a man do? And then you have this, and that. So that's how you start measuring yourself. And then you have certain metrics like, how much am I supposed to have as a man saved up before I even get a girlfriend, or even start thinking of that. because and then you have to be disciplined, because women will come in and they'll see you that you have money and they're like, oh, I want to spend his money because it's not my money, so it's his money and he'll spend it for me, you know. He'll spend it on me. So when you look at, you know, the reality of it, then you're like, oh, yeah, this is probably not the girl for me. If she's trying to take out what I've already built, then that just sounds crazy. If she's not trying to take care of it, now let's say she comes in and she sees, oh wow, this guy got some money saved up, this is good, all right, let's see how we can add some percentages to his amount, you know. And then that's the kind of woman you want, because that's a woman that's gonna make you more money, that's gonna help you progress. That's what you want. You know, that's one metric of understanding what a good woman is. That's a good woman. If she comes in there and she practically just doubles your finance, or I'm sorry, yeah, doubles your financial situation, she's a keeper. Keep her, because she is going to make you more money on top of that. Why? Because it's going to benefit her future. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what you want, a girl like that, because that girl is not sitting there trying to just take from you, you know. And that's what you don't want as a man. You don't want a girl that's just a taker, because then you know, you're just making all this money, you're killing yourself, you come home and you realize your bank account is at zero and you're like, what did I do for the last 2 years? You know, where's the extra money at, you know? So when you look at it that way, then you're like, oh, okay, this is the type of woman I want. And then those are the little, remember how we were talking about how there's certain flags you can see from a girl, right? There's certain little things, certain little details. That's one of the details that I notice. If a woman comes into my life and I see that she has ambition and she's like, okay, well, this is what I want to do and I want to duplicate this, or let me help you build what you already have and build on top of that. And that's kind of what you want. You want a girl that's going to be able to help you in that aspect, where she's, you know, let's say you own a business, right? And you don't have an accountant, and she's like, I like numbers, I can work with numbers. Next thing you know, she's making your books happen. And, you know, now she's helping you out with receipts. She's organizing your receipts. She's organizing, you know, all your invoices. She's organizing what, you know, so you can see what's coming in, what's going out. All those things are extremely, extremely helpful. And if a woman can come into your life and be able to help you in that aspect, she is gold. And we must protect that woman at all costs, because that's the type of woman that helps a man. The woman that sits there and starts telling you and belittling you, right? Because there's a variation of that same girl where it's the one that comes in, she tries to break you down so you can build yourself up. That girl right there, she's just wasting your time, because what she's doing is she's doing what's easiest to control you, you know. And she'll humiliate you and make you feel lesser than her. That's not the girl you want. Any girl that makes you feel, or she tries to do everything possible to manipulate the situation and to make you feel less than her, that is not the girl you want. That is definitely not the girl you want, because what she's trying to do is, she's the type that will attack you, and she sees all your flaws, and the minute she sees something better, she's gonna walk away from you, leave you how you are, all broken now that she broke you, and she's gonna go to another guy who probably has more money than you, you know, or that or the looks that has more potential than you. And that's not what you want. That's really not what you want. You want a girl that's gonna help you grow, not one that's gonna tell you to grow. There's a big difference, you know. Or do you want a girl on you all the time telling you, hey, you're a piece of crap, get up and do better? That's not inspiring. Well, it doesn't inspire me. So, you know, I don't know, does that inspire you?
No.
Okay. So, you know, that's gonna make me feel like I have more enemies than what I really do. You know, that's gonna make me feel like I need to fight on my own. And the whole point of a partner is that it's your team member. That's the person that's on your team. They're on your side, and they're trying to better the team. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the type of girl you want. You don't want the crazy one that comes in and, you know, starts pointing at all your defects, and she's supposedly trying to fix you. That's not what you want, because she's not there for you. She's there for her. She's there to create whatever she has in her brain. So she doesn't really respect you as a man anyways. You know, the minute a woman starts to try to lower you, you know, mentally, that's when you should run. You know, that's when you should tell yourself, oh, there is another bad thing. That's not something I want to freaking see for the next, you know, years until I die. That's that's not what you want, you know. So, you know, that's another little metric or nugget that, you know, that's pretty concrete on what type of girl you want next to you. You know, that's another little thing that you could look for. You could see, you know, that another thing is too, if she comes in, right, and she sees you have a business, but now she wants to change the business, or like she says she's gonna better it, but she comes in and tries to change what's already working. And that is another form of the girl that supposedly is there to help, but she's really not helping. She's actually just destroying everything you've created, because
It's creating an extra problem.
exactly, that's what so you understand that is imagine you, I just worked on, you know, you and I worked on this wonderful business, and 3 years down the line we're looking good, it's all steady, you know, everything's running smoothly. I get with a girl, she comes in and she just starts changing the whole structure of the business. You're going to be very upset as my business partner.
Yeah.
So that's the type of situation that you want to avoid, you know. So you see the type of girl that you want. You want the one that comes in and betters your life, your business, your income. That's the one you want. The one that comes and takes, that's just a waste of time. She's just gonna drain you. Then you have the other one that supposedly comes and helps you, but then she's doing everything possible to belittle you and change you into something that you're not. And then on top of that, then you have the other girl who comes in supposedly to help, but she's undermining everything, and she's just making everything that you build, she tries to practically change it and destroy it. I don't know if that's the type of girl that you know you would want. I'm sure nobody wants that type of girl. So,
No.
yeah. So, you know, so when you start looking at these girls, when you start going out with them, you can start seeing that. You know, I have a good example. I met a girl, you know, just the other day. The good thing is she's not from this country. She is westernized, but not completely, because her background, her ethnic background, is similar to what ours is, where it's more conservative in a way. So she is not, how shall I say, she's very friendly, very polite. She's educated, and that's what attracted me for us to further our conversation. Again, outside, she's a beautiful girl. I can tell you, everybody was looking at her. All the guys were, unfortunately, that were around, they were all married for them, unfortunately for them. But they were definitely staring. So, you know, the fact that I got the opportunity to have a conversation with her was great. We hit it off. Will it lead to anything? I don't know. But I did see some traits in her that were very positive. You know, she wasn't trying to tell me what to do. She was actually trying to learn from me, you know, and that actually makes me feel like, oh, so she understands that I have more knowledge than her, So she sees me as somebody that she can respect. And that in itself is always the first step when you first start talking to a girl, is you see the signs of, is there going to be disrespect in this? Does she see me as her equal, or does she see me as somebody that she can revere? And that's another metric that you can use when you go out with a girl and say, well, this girl said this and that, but the question is, does she respect you? Is she going to be somebody that's going to continue, that's not going to lose that respect for you? You see? Because some girls, they'll respect you in the beginning. I don't know, they wake up one day and they just feel a whole different thing, and boom, they change on you, and they're like, oh, you're this, you're that, and you know, and she understood right away too that I wasn't going to sit here and, you know, enable her any bad behavior. I just don't do that. I will literally walk away. I don't care what it is, what's going on. I walk away. I don't want to deal with it. I have, again, my path. And if my path is clear and you want to come over here and try to, you know, pull me away from my path, I find that as disrespect, and I find that insulting, personally. Because I have a goal that I want to reach. And if she comes in and she inspires me even more to get to reach that goal, then I want to have her in my life, because she inspired me to reach to where, you know, what I'm, my potential, you know. And that also benefits her, because if she stays with me and she sees that, whoa, this guy's potential is through the roof, this guy's gonna make a lot of money, this guy's gonna have a great life, he's probably gonna be able to take care of, you know, 10 of my kids, then she's gonna be like, yeah, no, this is the guy that I want. So she's going to keep on respecting me, because respect is very, very important. It is crucial for us as men to keep the respect at the level it first was. If anything, it will grow, but at the least keep it at the exact same level you started with. The minute she loses that respect, the relationship's over. Just walk away, man.
Yes.
Just accept.
You find another one.
Yeah, just accept it. Is what we always tell guys here is, accept the truth. Walk away with your dignity. You know what I mean?
Even if the truth hurts.
Even if it hurts. Unfortunately, sometimes the truth hurts. Believe me, I've been one of those guys that I've been hurt by the truth. But now I embrace it and I take it in, and I be, you know what? This is the truth. I will accept it. I will better myself. This will make me stronger. That's how I look at it. I don't cling on to the illusion. That's not what we do as men. Leave that for the women. Don't do that to yourself. You're a man. Stand upright. You know, and act like a man. You know, it's very important. It doesn't have to be. I mean. What were we talking about earlier? The guys who are very emotional. What are they? Oh, they're the red pill guys, I believe it is, right? These guys are extremely emotional. These guys are just extremely emotional. You know, come out there with so much testosterone and you know, Hulk smash, and you know, you're trying to intimidate another man. Little do you know, maybe that man can carry. Maybe that man used to, you know, be in the army. You have no idea what this other man can do, and you may be able to fight great, but no man, I've never seen a man stop a bullet. You know, especially with his teeth. So, you know, I've never seen that. So these guys think they're invincible because of their emotion. Again, they live in this delusion world where I'm invincible. No, you're not. Just because a bunch of guys who are weak, who you are practically manipulating to give you money, are giving you that money, that just means you're scamming them, because you're not giving them anything in return. What are you giving to them, really? You know, they give you money, and what are you giving them? Insults, belittling them, telling them they gotta work out. Great, we all gotta work out, we know this, but what are you giving of substance? to these guys. You're literally practically just damaging them. The same thing that we were talking about the other girl. Remember how I told you the example I gave you of the certain girls, the 3 type of girls that take. So if you look at it, these guys are doing almost the exact same tactic, which is belittle the guy, break him down. I'm better than you. Give me money. That's their formula.
Wow.
So if you look at these guys, I mean, they're not really doing anything positive, really. What they're doing is they're creating they're creating a very bad masculine environment, which gives the rest of us men a bad name. And that's the problem. So a good example of that is I was talking to a family member, and she was telling me how it was hard for her to find certain guys that will actually walk up to her and talk to her. Not only that, but her and I believe it was her and her other sibling, another one of my family members, they went out to this location, and the guys were on one side, the girls were on the other, and the guys weren't trying to talk to any of the girls. The guys just weren't. And I was like, wow, that sounds bad, because it's not because of fear anymore. Well, it is fear, but it's not the fear of talking to a woman. It's not a fear of rejection. It's a fear of being accused. And that's a scary situation for any man. Because false accusations, again, can ruin your whole life in a way. And as a man, we got to walk really careful, especially at these moments, because a woman could falsely accuse you of whatever, whether it's true or not. They usually take her word for it as true. And even though, there's no proof, she has no proof, and let's say down the line they come to find out that you have proof that what she's saying is a lie, your life just got turned upside down, your life just got ruined, and she just goes back to whatever she was doing before, like nothing ever happened. And that's a scary situation for us men to be in, because it leaves us so vulnerable that the law is against us, and the law is against us in family court, the law is against us in regular court. We get sentenced to more time than majority of women. We get what's it called? There are all these double standards that you see in the court system. So why would we risk our lives just to talk to a girl? It just doesn't make sense anymore. It's not worth it. And then on top of that, you go and talk to her and she rejects you anyways. And you're like, okay, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. It's useless. So guys would much rather be more cautious when it comes down to that, because it's reality. Reality is, there's no point. Like I said, the situation that I had was, it was more of it's a different situation, because we were in a place where I wasn't there to meet girls. I was just there to be with my family. But so happened that we met this girl, and it was a great situation. I'm not saying I'm going to marry this girl. I'm not saying that she's the one. But what I'm saying is the situation happened, and it wasn't, thank God, a bad situation, or nothing bad came out of it, thank God. So, and I feel like as we had a good conversation, so that was great. That's the type of situation that you want. And it's difficult for certain men in the first place to go talk to women. They're not comfortable like that. I unfortunately don't have shame. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. If you don't like how I am, don't come around me. You don't,
Yeah.
it's really simple to me because people want to control you based on their judgment. And it's
Mm.
like, I've done enough in life where I can judge myself. I'm good, thanks.
And then some people wanna change you
Yeah,
too, also
yeah. That
for their preference.
exactly. So then, what good is that to you, anyways? Because that's not the real you, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I want to change to be somebody I'm not? That sounds
Yeah, just for you, like I'm not gonna change my whole entire personality just for you to like me. Like, like if you don't like me, like who cares?
yeah,
Not gonna change for nobody.
yeah, yeah. So those are that's a great mentality to have as a man, because then you're not caught up in your emotions. It's kind of like I said earlier. If a girl walks up to me and tells me, "Oh, you're ugly," and I'm just like, "Thank you," like I don't. What do you want me to say to that? Like, I didn't ask you. You know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm confident enough in me that I don't worry about that. That's not something that's on my mind. Oh my God, I gotta look. Do I look good? Do I? No. I really do not care about that. I do not really care what anybody thinks of me. And that's confidence right there, where I don't have to go buy a fancy car to impress anybody because I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't need a fancy car to make me feel happy. I just don't. I don't need a big humongous house to show to everybody how in debt I am. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can be in debt all by myself. I don't need to buy a house to be in debt. Like, so that's the type of mentality that a lot of guys have. Is they're so worried. They all want to put up a performance. I'm not here to put up a performance. I'm just me, and this is how I am. You like it, good. You don't, sorry.
Oh well.
I like me.
That's all that matters.
Right? So when you look at it that way, then we go back to the same thing we always end with, which is love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how is somebody else supposed to love you?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the crazy part right there that we don't understand is why are we doing that to ourselves? We're trying to get validation from somebody outside, and the love is really internal. Because people are going to see that from you. They're going to see the confidence you have. You're going to see that, oh, this guy does not need me. Every other guy needs me. They're all begging. They're all giving me gifts. They're giving me money. This guy doesn't even acknowledge that I'm there, my existence. What a jerk. Why is he like that? So then they try harder. Or they just walk up to you and they're like, hey, what's up? And they just have a normal conversation. And then they'll respect you more if they walk up to you and the conversation leads to a funny, let's just say entertaining, knowledgeable, and psychologically driven situation or conversation that you have. And that conversation will fill them with the imagination of what could be.
Yeah.
And that's literally what we should be teaching other men, is that right there. Instead, you get these guys, oh, you have to have a fancy car for girls to like you. And it's just like, no, what are you doing? That's just going to destroy society even more. It's going to disbalance it even more. It's already disbalanced. It's already messed up. We don't need some guy that's, taking steroids telling me how to be a man. If you have to take steroids, are you a man?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. It's kind of like, if a woman wears makeup, is she really pretty? You know what I mean? You get these questions of, if you have to enhance yourself, then that means you're not comfortable with who you are.
Yep.
Taking care of yourself is a big difference between enhancing yourself. If you're trying to enhance yourself, you got way more issues than what you think. If you're just trying to better yourself, then you're just being you at your best. What you have, what God gave you, and that's what you're doing at your best. And that's it. That's all you have to. It's really simple. It's really simple and basic. all you have to do is that. Be yourself and be comfortable in your own skin. Doesn't matter what you drive. Doesn't matter where you live. I mean, being homeless is not a positive. It's a red flag for some. Just saying. I don't know. I'm not a woman. So I couldn't tell you guys. But I actually, oh wow. Actually, I've met somebody that was with a homeless guy.
Wow.
Yeah. And it turned out to be a tragic, disgusting story years later. But we'll leave that for another time. Like I was saying though, the main point is be yourself, be secure in you. Doesn't matter what clothes you wear, really. I mean, don't dress like, again, a bum. Not putting down homeless people. Everybody has their own decisions and their own situations which they go through, and hopefully they'll all get out of it. But what I'm saying is for you as a man, become a man, be a man, and it's not that difficult, really. We have certain standards that we must meet as men.
Yep.
And a lot of them have nothing to do with the standards that women want. Because what women say they want is different from what they biologically want. You see?
Yeah.
Their biological desire has nothing to do with what they say they want. Because if that was the case, every good guy right now would be married. And that's your proof that women say one thing and do another. So, like, you educated yourself, on these type of situations, which is great. You're ahead of most guys right now, because you are educating yourself, you're working on yourself, you're eating better, you're working out, all that good stuff, and then you start feeling more sure about yourself. You start feeling more sure about your decisions. You start feeling more, all these wonderful things. And then you'll be sure on the people you want around you, guys that you trust, girls that may be loyal. So all of those things they're all a factor, but it all starts in one place, which is loving yourself, liking yourself, accepting the truth, staying away from the delusion, and accepting the truth. So then that way you know what you're working with, and that way you can better yourself to be to your full potential. And all women love guys who can show that they have way more potential than what anybody else sees. So when they see that, oh man, they latch onto you. So again, we went over the time again, Mr. Shadow. But we do that a lot. So because there's so much to talk about. There's especially about this particular subject, and we just want to help. That's literally what we're here for. We're here trying to help men become better, so they can better society. Again, we repeat that over and over. So, Mr. Shadow, why don't you summarize what I said for the last hour, and let these people know what they're supposed to do, and then give them some advice. We're gonna give you some time.
Yeah, for sure. So what we went over is what do men find in women? Yeah, you gotta be with the woman, talk to her, see, notice her traits and what she can offer. And then the other thing is that we as men, we need to take care of ourselves. Maybe look up YouTube videos how to take care of ourselves, do your nails, your hair, nails. If women see that you take care of yourself, they're gonna like you more. That's my advice.
Yeah. So grooming is pretty important. That is true. So taking care of yourself in that aspect is also very important, because women notice those little details. Us as men, we don't care. That's not. We just don't care.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the women, if you want to be with a good woman, she's gonna see how you take care of yourself, how clean you are, all that good stuff. So that is a very good subject that you brought up. Unfortunately, that's another hour conversation when it comes down to grooming and how to take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
So we don't have that
Yeah.
time. But
A sneak peek.
yeah, just
What's
a
coming next?
sneak peek for what's next. So yeah, well, we'll leave you guys with that. Mr. Shadow, let them all know we'll be back.
We'll be back next week, guys.
Nice. Okay. And again, love yourself, like yourself, accept yourself, so then that way everybody else can do the same to you and for you. All right. We out, Shadow.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.